Hello, this is Spellbinder. I'm going to do a third part to this for musicians and the general public. Again, he goes back over the musical scales of the Pythagorean music, shows you that there's a scale there. He doesn't cover as good as he does in part 1. The musicians still need to watch the entire video that I have at the bottom of my link or descriptions on my YouTube, and he's going to explain how harmony and 144,000, which I believe will be the musicians of the world who will sing us back into harmony with the Creator. This is what he has to say. Here we go.
In 1999, Dr. Joseph Palaio, actually 98, presented me with a project that I didn't want to take on initially, and because it was the Creator's project, I was required to take it on, and ultimately it was the most really wonderful and very easy book to produce. I had angels stationed because I told the Creator, I haven't got time to do this book. If you want me to do this book, you better help me out. And so literally I had a couple angels stationed beside me. My wife can attest to the fact that I simply sat in front of a computer for like 6 months, 5.5 months, and the book was done. And I didn't write it. I was observing it being written. There was one section of the book called The Mind Blower where you're in my head at the time that I'm watching all this take place, including the expose of, I think, some of the most profound revelations in the last few centuries. One of the things that came out of this that was a mind blower was the original musical scale, the Creator's musical scale, before it was distorted, before it was manipulated to dumb down humanity. If we are, as I said earlier, bioelectric, bioacoustic, spiritual manifestations, precipitations of love harmonies played from a heavenly orchestra, then music is profoundly important in every sense. Salvation depends on it, physical and spiritual. And so the recognition and the revelation, the uncovering, the re-revealing of the original musical scale that had been buried in the book of Numbers in a code. Chapter 7, verses 12 through 83 has the original code that was put in there by my great ancestors, the Levite priests, 3,000 years ago when they originally translated the Torah into the Greek Septuagint and instilled the verse numbers into the Bible, and therein placed the original notes that probably, because these notes are associated with miracles, all of all kinds. Creation, destruction, and miracles. That they secreted those by putting them into a code in the Bible. And because they're my great ancestors, you probably, if you've followed my work, heard me share that I'm probably repenting, either repenting for the sins of my great ancestors. There's a whole school of thought that says that those guys were already on the way out in terms of being, holders of the sacred knowledge, the Pythagorean mystery school mathematics, long before the Templars took over the Holy Land, that the miracle frequencies that these impart were much like the technologies that the great pyramids were used to levitate those great stones and place them through sonic vibration into the proper position. And my good old boys, my family, my great ancestors, the Levites, look at the Bible. It tells you that they were the keepers of their wisdom, that was their calling. And so I may be repenting for the fact that my great ancestors initially buried this information, and that it's been now part of my calling to re-reveal this to the planet. Or there's another school of thought that says, just like parents, you don't introduce to your children concepts that are a little bit premature for them or more mature than they're capable of integrating at any particular time in their lives. So now humanity has evolved, and maybe it's now perfectly timed that my great ancestors, including Moses, knew in advance they had to bury it because humanity wasn't ready for it yet. Maybe. So it's an academic question, but the bottom line is that the information, the original 6 tones, and then we now know, and I was able to decipher the other 9. It allowed for Jonathan Goldman, who is one of the nation's leading experts in healing and music, called me up. He said, Len, I know you published 6 of the ancient codes, the musical notes from the ancient solfeggio scale. He says, aren't there 9? I said, yeah. I said, I can share with you how to find the others. And I did that. It was a simple mathematical thing. It's not hard at all to see how it happened. And so he took those notes. He went into a sound recording studio with 9 of the tuning forks that he had specifically honed to those specific frequencies with vocalists who do the Gregorian chants. And they came out with a magnificent CD called Holy Harmony that I believe is probably, if not the most powerful healing, meditation, prayer-enhancing CD in the planet. It's certainly among the top 2 or 3. It's very powerful. These frequencies are extremely powerful. And the revelations associated with the numbers, like in the book of Numbers, impart revelations. These numbers allowed us to understand that English language, what I'm speaking to you now, is based on the Pythagorean mystery school mathematics and the sacred languages of Hebrew, Sanskrit, and ancient Aramaic. They were the sacred languages. They imparted a frequency that manifested in physical reality, in cymatics, the science that studies the effects of sound on matter and the flow of matter into forms and shapes such as the miracle of your body, all sung into shape. That's the science of cymatics. It studies the fact that all of your proteins and throughout your body and your DNA and your hemoglobin, it's all spiraled. Why? Like a Tesla coil to enhance the energy, the frequency, the absorption and transmission of sacred Creator's love vibrations. Music and language. If the Creator created through the spoken word and He creates you and I as His holy children, don't you think if you send your child to school, you want to empower that child with everything possible so that they can be wonderful co-creators and come home and bless you, right? With wonderful works, and you take pride and joy in the works that they come home with? And so we were sent to this school called Planet Earth with 2 lips. Creator creates through the spoken word and song, so do we. English language, we show you in the book Healing Codes for the Biological Apocalypse. Based on the ancient mystery school mathematics, the Pythagorean secreted mathematics, English is speaking Hebrew alphanumerically but backwards. They flipped it. Who flipped it? Same people we're going to talk a little bit about. The Anglo-Saxons in the 1400s, the royal families, using the model of Babylon, the Babylonian temple, where the Creator decided to divide the sheeple to conquer the flock. He says, I don't like you guys anymore. You're not giving me praise and joy. You're basically egomaniacs who say that you can build castles to the sky. Well, I will confuse your tongues. I will change your languages. And then they could no longer commune with each other and the Holy Spirit of divine power that comes through the true languages, the sacred languages. And so that was one revelation. Another revelation was the fact that each of the 6 original musical scale tones spoke of, prophesied, the gathering, we call it the beginning times gathering of the 144,000 humble servants of the Creator, prophesied to assemble in the end times to do what? To sing a new song, to sing the Creator's praises in such a way as to instantaneously and miraculously deliver the entire planet back to the Creator. And those who are in dissonance, that is in their hearts, they are not vibrating to a similar love frequency vibrations. They will literally implode from their own dissonance. And so it takes a lot of pressure off of those of us who think we have to save the world. Okay? It's all handled. The Creator's handled it. We just need to handle the stuff in our own lives. That's the challenge. So, next revelation that we came out with in Healing Codes was the fact that those 6 notes specifically talked about exactly what I just said, the miraculous gathering of the 144,000, the singing of the new song, and we now have the tones, we have the music. We basically are now looking for the musicians and the venue. So if you know any concert organizers who would love to join us in this I think, historically vitally important, if not urgent, concert, just think of it as an affirmation. If nothing else results from it, it would be wonderful. Next revelation is the fact that the darkest before the dawn in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, comes in verse 13, 18 of the book of Revelation. And it talked about, at the end times, when the great plagues have struck, people are dying left and right. The world's wealthiest have been deceived by the same movers and shakers who actually says practice sorcery. The root word of sorcery is pharmacopoeia, pharmaceuticals. These are the military, medical, petrochemical, pharmaceutical industrialists. Okay? And so it says in the Bible, Revelation 13:18, that how you will know these people at this particular time in history, and why this is the darkest before the dawn, because the dawn, the light at the end of the tunnel, comes in the very next verse, which is 14:1. 13:18 says this: "Herein lies wisdom." This is a quote. Think about this. The Creator could say, the Bible could say a lot of things at that moment in time. Here's the prescription. Quote, "Herein lies wisdom. Let those who understand," that is, have the intelligence, both in the head and documentation intelligence, "let those who understand count the number of the beast. For it is also the name of a man." Some Bibles say name of a person. And his number is, of course it couldn't be a woman. Not in a man-run insane world. Okay? It's also the name of a person, and his number is 666. Now, if you read that verse and you just simply think, what's logical? Names are done in letters. Counting is done in numbers. To count a name, you need an alphanumeric code. And that's the code that we came out with in Healing Codes for the Biological Apocalypse. It just happened to be also the Illuminati's principal code. It happened to be the British Secret Service's principal codes. Of course, MI6 runs CIA. And all of America is simply a puppet operating by the pulling of strings from Germany and London, largely, not entirely. The great German banksters, we'll talk a little bit about in this presentation quickly. Rockefeller is nouveau riche. Even though he controls medicine, pharmaceuticals, sciences in the United States, pretty much all around the world, they're nouveau riche. They got their money from J.P. Morgan, who got it from the Rothschilds. So the old European money, the royalties, banksters, we're going to talk a little bit about in this presentation that's going to bring you up to date on what they've been doing insofar as DNA manipulation and the Human Genome Project heist and this whole concept of them having pirated the sacred spiral to manipulate humanity in this end times warfare that I prefer to call bio-spiritual warfare, wherein DNA is the central processing station and the central focus of the warfare effort for optimal population control. And that includes depopulation in these end times. So Revelation 13:18, we nailed it. 666 happens to be Kissinger. I'll show you that in a couple minutes.
Oh, there you got it. 666 is Henry Kissinger because of all his evilness. Just do research on this man, and you'll see that he doesn't want you to know anything about this spiral of the DNA and how it can be repaired by universal sounds and other things. Well, until next time, this is Spellbinder. This will be the last of this. If you want to see this, I'll have the link down at the bottom of this video, and you can watch it. Till then, be good at it. Good day.